All right. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Mantra Monday on this Labor Day. This is the second in our series of using planetary mantras in order to help with various physical ailments. Remember, we were just working with inner conditions that were more psychological in aspects. Now we're working more on actual things that affect the body directly. So last week we started with the moon, which of course under planetary systems is considered a planet. Now we're moving to the planets proper. First one, of course, is Mercury. Now, some people choose to do the Mercury mantra to try to alleviate things during a Mercury retrograde. For some people, this is less of an issue, particularly if they were born under a Mercury retrograde, as I was. Things work a little bit differently, but this is always an option. So, what parts of the body are affected by Mercury? Well, hands and arms, lungs, sensory organs. There are some planets that work more specifically on like the eyes and such, but this is general stuff. And it has some influence on the thyroid. So if you have problems with, numbness and tingling in the hands, weakness in the arms, some thyroid issues, a little bit of lung issue, then perhaps, you might meditate on whether this would be a good mantra for you this time. And the mantra this time is Om Shri Buddhaya Namaha. You put that into the comments, so we have that. Go Om Shri Buddhaya Namaha. Now, some people might be going, hey, I have this specific problem. Is there something that can help me? Well, there are a couple of ways that can be addressed. We'll get to that. In general, I don't want to get into stuff too specifically because A, I'm not a certified mantra teacher, and B, when you have a problem that is important to deal with the form, you should go to somebody who is a professional in dealing with the form, which is a doctor. I'm not a doctor. Thought about it once many years ago and decided that wasn't the path for me. So, these are never a replacement for seeking trained professionals. They are simply an extra way that you can, an extra tool that you can use that can make things a little bit easier for you. Let's do a few Ganesh. Om Gam Ganapatiye Namaha, 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 Om Gam Ganapatiye Namaha. All right. Let's do the mantra itself. Once again, that's Om Buddhaya, Om Sri Buddhaya Namaha. Om Sri Buddhaya Namaha, 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 Om Sri Buddhaya Namaha. 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 Like I said, sometimes people use these to work through things when that particular planet is in retrograde. But that is a choice that you can make if you think that is particularly affecting you. When we get to Saturn, I'll be talking about that a little bit in a little more detail, because I really like to do a Saturn discipline when Saturn changes signs, and that's going to be kind of important. Why? Because Saturn is about bringing things back in. When we get to Jupiter, Jupiter is about expansion. Saturn is about, dialing things back afterwards. So when Saturn changes signs, it can be very disruptive because you're getting the different energy from that different sign combined with that pulling in of energy, and it can be very disruptive. But we'll get to that when we get there. Mercury, very volatile. Excellent, Tammy. That's a good one. Yeah, dealing with the hands and the arms, we use those all the time. It's kind of important. And there may be others when we get to those planets that will be helpful also. There is a special little bit that Namadeva referred to when he was asked by a person who had fibromyalgia if there was something he could recommend. And so when we get to there, I'll discuss that in more detail. When we have these immune system problems, it is a very systemic problem, and a lot of things are used to alleviate that. As we move through the planets and get to the end of that, I'll also be giving some mantras that deal with the universal healer, Don Ventre, things that are more generic. So if you just want to call on, a healer, say, hey, I'm not sure which mantra would be the best for me, so I'm just calling on you as the healer to help me out here. Can't go wrong with that. Ask the universal healer to give you a heads up. I hope that everybody stays in as good a health as possible. I know that when the pollen is heavily in the air and I start coughing a little bit, that this mantra may be particularly useful for me to try to deal with that, as I tend to suffer from some lung issues. And having something that will strengthen my lungs and make them, more easily deal with the various insults that are in the atmosphere would probably be a good plan for me. That's something that you could also think about. In the meantime, I hope everybody has an excellent week. I will see you next week.